Hey there, it's another beautiful day. Let's watch some stuff.
Darkest conspiracy theories.
The Earth virus theory. This theory states that the Earth is a living organism, and we, you and I, the humans, are the virus. The Earth grows plenty of free food, and every animal seems to balance and coexist on Earth in sort of a circle of life. For instance, bees pollinate crops, moving from one plant to the next, fertilizing each plant. It's beneficial. Even though they're taking pollen, they're still being beneficial. But humans, we seem to not benefit the Earth at all. We're more destructive. We clear rainforests, fill the ocean with our plastics, puncture giant holes in the ozone with our chemicals and fuels, and we cause man-made climate disasters. We don't seem to coexist. Think about the human body. When we're sick, our body creates antibodies to kill off the viruses. That's exactly what the Earth does to us, creating earthquakes, droughts, tsunamis, and other natural disasters. Let's face it, we're destructive in nature. And while a tiny bit of us do try to help the planet, the majority of us selfishly harm it. Maybe we are the virus.
I have always been a big fan of that theory, and we just continue to grow and multiply just like a virus. And it's been a very popular theory for quite a while now. And once the Earth is just overpopulated and it's overrun with the virus, it's going to do something to get rid of this virus, which means one day we may be kaput. I hope you're okay with a little bit of extra sun today. It's so gorgeous outside, I wanted to let the day in and share it with you. And since we're here sharing this lovely day, if you wouldn't mind hitting that like button for me, it'll really help out my channel and it'll let me know that you're here. And if this is your kind of content, won't you consider subscribing if you haven't already, and then come back tomorrow because I'm making a new episode every day.
Ever wondered how old our Earth really is? The young Earth theory suggests that Earth is only about 6,000 to 10,000 years old, challenging the scientific consensus of a 4.5 billion-year-old planet. Think about it, proponents of this theory, often creationists, interpret the biblical timeline as literal, asserting that Earth's age can be calculated based on genealogies in the Bible. They argue that geological features and fossil records can be explained by events like Noah's flood rather than millions of years of natural processes. Despite overwhelming scientific evidence supporting an ancient Earth, such as radiometric dating and the fossil record, the young Earth theory persists among some groups.
I know in like the super devout Christian religion are the people that typically do believe that the Earth is a lot younger. My daughter's Poppy, so because she's my stepdaughter, her mother's father truly believed that the Earth was only like 2,000 years old and that the dinosaur bones, because dinosaurs were alive like 1,500 years ago. Something like that is what he actually believed. And I totally understand that. When you have like a faith that is just so devout and you are just like, no, this is what we were told, then you believe it's real.
Lottery numbers are... we've done so many jokes over the many seasons that we've been on the air that eventually we're going to get something right. We always predict, what is the most, predict. We always write jokes on the things that are supposed to be the most absurd possibility, and it turns out that that's the way the world is these days. So everything seems to come true. But no, it's not intentional, and what can I say? Don't stop writing mean stuff about me on Twitter, okay? I'm not a communist, I'm not a Satanist, I'm not a Freemason, 33rd degree level or whatever it is. Yeah, it's all good fun, folks.
Thank you for clearing up. Thank you for clearing up.
If you're unsure of who that was, that is Matt Groening, and he is the guy that is responsible for The Simpsons. And you know how often The Simpsons are attributed with predicting the future. They're like, oh my gosh, The Simpsons predicted this, because they've got like so many episodes. Eventually something that they put out had to come true. And a lot of people do that like with YouTube. They will list a whole bunch of predictions and then film whatever they're gonna do and then publish it, but keep it private. And then if something happens, they're like, oh, look, I predicted this way back when, a long time ago. But that's kind of like fudging it to see if it happens. But they do a whole bunch of stuff like that. These people on YouTube, I've seen a video about it, it's crazy. But seriously, a lot of things that have been shown on The Simpsons have come true. But it's just coincidence.
I'd love to do it. Just to be a crew, we just didn't get the other end.
Come on now. One of those was the moon. The other one was the sun.
Isn't it strange that we're all constantly using our smartphones, like 24/7, all day, every day, yet we never, ever use them, or even see them whilst we're dreaming? Ask your friends and family, do they ever dream? If so, have they actually seen their phone whilst dreaming? This isn't only phones. Other smart technology like laptops and computers, you just barely see them, let alone interact with them. There's a theory that speculates that this proves that we are actually living in a simulation because some sort of energy is like not wanting you to see something. In this case, it's your phone being hidden. Majority of people are vibrating at a negative or just like regular frequency. At this level, people don't really recognize things that may be harming them. So imagine you become your higher self, right? Or reach a new realm where you're just happy and spiritually evolved. Once you see that phone, where it's just you scrolling, wasting your time, and lowering your frequency, you might decide, I don't want that anymore. Imagine that happens in the masses. That's a massive profit loss.
That went every which direction. I'm trying to figure out what the conspiracy was there. Like, not seeing your phone in your dreams, which is interesting because I do remember my dream that I had last night. It was a really weird zombie dream. Like, it was not me, but it was me and my sister, which wasn't actually my sister. It was somebody else, but she was my sister. And I always carry two phones. I have my work phone and I have my personal phone, and then I always have my Apple Watch. And I was trying to like make a call for help because my sister had turned into a zombie and I was hiding in a room trying to take her out. But I didn't see my phone, so that is interesting. But then it's like talking about the frequency, because phones put off EMF, right? They put off EMFs and it disrupts your harmonics, and that's a big thing to a lot of people. So maybe it's saying, you know, if we recognize that we don't actually need our phones because in our dreams we don't see our phones, and so in reality, if we recognize that we don't need our phones, it'll take down the man. Is that what's happening? I don't know. How did you interpret that? Was it interpretable? Because it was a little weird.
In light of the spread of mpox outside DRC and the potential for further international spread within and outside Africa, I have decided to convene an emergency committee under the international health regulations to advise me on whether the outbreak represents a public health emergency of international concern. The committee will meet as soon as possible and will be made up of independent experts from a range of relevant disciplines.
So this mpox outbreak in Africa, it's a new strain, and they've declared a continental emergency within the last 24 hours. So something huge is happening in Africa with this mpox. It seems to be gaining some momentum. And a lot of people are speculating that it has something to do with the presidential election. Because at the end of the last presidential term, what happened? Right? The whole COVID-19 mess. And some people are saying that this is being generated to prevent, you know, this whole election from even happening. And I think it's a bunch of crap. Americans aren't that damn special. You know, things happen in other countries and it doesn't have to do with us. But at the same time, it's a little interesting, isn't it?
Mosquitoes are vampires that evolved into tiny creatures, so we will not suspect them. You don't believe me? I will show you. You ever wonder why it looks like vampires have gone extinct? That is because they evolved into tiny creatures that you have to clap to. Vampires weren't called vampires in the past. They were called vampire because they were demons forged in fire. The person that named them vampire didn't have a teeth. That was why instead of fire, he said Paya, vampire. I'm taking you into the history of bloodsuckers. Some of you don't even have historical understanding. Walk with me. Vampires are bloodsuckers in the past. But with the change in technology and modernization, they had to evolve to be tiny creatures so you will not suspect them and put garlic in your house. You still don't believe me? I will show you. What does vampire and mosquitoes have in common? You might be thinking it's because they both suck blood, but you blind cows aren't woke enough to go beyond the surface. Do you ever see mosquitoes when the sun is shining? No, because they only come out at night. So does vampires. Illuminati confirmed. Do you know that vampires are afraid of holy water? You don't ask yourself what is the opposite of holy water? Stagnant water. You don't ask Ask yourself, where are mosquitoes' eggs laid? Stagnant water. During the development and evolution, the vampire fangs became the needle-like proboscis of the mosquito. I know some of you will not know the meaning. Google it. Vampires turned into mosquitoes to escape the vampire hunters of those days. Now they don't need to bite into skin and leave 2 marks. They have now downgraded to only 1 red mark that can be visible on every part of your body, which can later change you into a fellow mosquito. But the sad news is, when humans start going through the phase of transformation, they call it malaria. And most humans don't fully transform, because they take a cure called anti-malaria drug. And some people die if they don't get the drug. Mosquitoes cause the death of over 725,000 people per year, even causing more harms than the olden days vampires. Now that you unwoke humans have known the truth about these blood-sucking demons, you could eradicate mosquito by buying insecticide in your house. This is the part where I get featured in an insecticide ad and I'm advertising an insecticide spray. I got bitten by one yesterday, guys. Wish me luck. If I reach full metamorphosis, all the conspiracy theories you'll be hearing will sound like this.
Well, that was just a bit of fun. Sometimes conspiracy theories do sound like that. Like you have a point A and you have a Z and you got to connect all these letters in between and you get there, but it doesn't make much sense to anybody but you. And sometimes it's just fun. And that was fun. I wanted to share it with you. I thought it was silly. I hope you enjoyed it.
I think I just stumbled on one of the greatest foreshadowings in TV and movie history from an episode of Cheers from 1985. Trust me, you're gonna want to see this. Everybody remembers Woody Harrelson's character from the TV show Cheers. Woody was introduced to us after the death of Coach. Woody Harrelson's character was from Indiana. In an episode entitled From Beer to Eternity, Woody says he can't join the bowling team because he used to be really good in his home state and one night had an accident that maimed a maintenance worker at a bowling alley. Some of you are skipping ahead and saying, wait a second, Woody Harrelson was in a bowling movie called Kingpin, where he plays Roy Munson, where Roy Munson gets maimed. But I told you this is crazy, so it gets even crazier. In the scene in Cheers where he says, I can't go bowling with you, I maimed a guy right after I picked up a split. 11 years into the future, to the Farrelly Brothers Kingpin, you'll see the scene where Roy Munson gets maimed. The person who turns on the pickup ball machine is that man who was maimed by Woody Harrelson's character in 1985. Woody Harrelson's character's from Indiana, so is Roy Munson. I mean, the attention to detail, the foreshadowing is deep. You smell that? There's a shit cloud coming.
I don't think that's a conspiracy. That's actually an Easter egg. Now, I've seen Kingpin. It's a great movie. I've never watched Cheers. I've heard that it's good and I've heard that it's awful, but that does happen an awful lot in cinema. TV shows, movies, even video games, where they will take a real life person and they will take attributes from a character that they portrayed, and when this person plays another character, they'll give them that backstory just to kind of be like, hey, let's weave them together a little bit and a little bit of excitement and stuff like that. But yeah, that's done quite an awful lot in Hollywood, and it's just an Easter egg. On that note, I'm going to call it for today. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Come on back tomorrow. We're going to watch some new stuff. I'm going to say different things, and it's going to be fantastic. Until then, have a wonderful day.